Hi there. It's been, I don't know how long now since I've done an episode on here. A lot has happened. And if you can hear noise in the background, it's because, if you remember, there was a pet pigeon that I had called Pedro. He recently went missing. Because basically, he was in love with a white pigeon that we still have. And they basically had babies together. She had gotten into the habit of flying off to get food in order to feed them, obviously. He decided one day to fly off with her. But the thing is that I think because he'd never flown that far before, and he was 100% tame, pretty much, just completely domesticated, he never returned. And it's been, I think, nearly 3 weeks now he's been gone. And apparently pigeons normally return back home after about 3 days max. So, please just nobody comment on this podcast or whatever saying, oh, I hope he comes back and stuff like that, because it's too much for me personally. It just makes me really, really sad, because I know for a fact he's not going to come back. If he did, he would have come back probably on the exact same day that he flew off. But yeah, I mean, he'll be missed greatly. He was honestly just so much more than just a pigeon to me. He was just my whole world. Such a lovely, sweet little boy. And he was fairly young. He was only about, I think, 2 years old, maybe. Because we got him when he was 3 months old, and that was in 2020. At least he's left a bit of his genetics behind, I guess you could say, or whatever you want to call it. His babies are here. One of them looks a lot like him. The other one, for some reason, is brown, which is very odd, because Pedro had no trace of brown in him. I mean, no brown feathers or anything like that, so I don't know where that came from. With the other pigeons. I don't know if you heard that just then. I've got Bluetooth headphones on, even though they're not actually switched on, but they've automatically turned themselves off. So forgive me if you suddenly heard that in the podcast. I don't think you did, though. But if you did, sorry. Oh, God. But yeah, the only unfortunate thing about pigeons is that I think they're quite misunderstood animals, really. Quite misunderstood birds. They're very intelligent. From what I've gathered, I've learnt a lot about them since we got Pedro a few years ago, and they can't see very well in the dark. I know that for a fact. So they can see well in the daytime. And yeah, I think they're quite lovely. And Pedro was the sort of pigeon that, I think even if people didn't like them very much, they would just melt when I saw him, because he was just so cute and lovely and extremely tame. So yeah, a lot happened, as I said. Another thing that recently happened involving a pet having to be put down, and this was at a place that I used to live. I used to live with 3 cats, and one of them, he was suffering, I think, a fair bit anyway. He'd had cancer for 2 years, I think, and he just couldn't eat properly. He would just, eat and throw it back up again, basically. So if he'd have just carried on the way he was, he would have probably just starved to death, unfortunately, which is quite sad. Yeah, basically, just to put it politely, he got put out of his misery, and he's probably in a much better place now, where he's no longer suffering. So yeah, he got put down, I got invited to say goodbye, but I just don't think I'd have been able to have dealt with that personally. I'm not very good at dealing with sad stuff like death and everything and funerals. I hate funerals. It sounds terrible, but it makes me feel very uncomfortable being at funerals. I just don't like. I don't know how to deal with it when people cry. Basically, I never know what to say or do in that situation. It just causes me to kind of like have a bit of a meltdown. So, yeah. Another subject. I recently published my second book. You should be able to find it in the Linktree link that I'll post in the description of this podcast episode when I've uploaded it and everything. You can find it on both Google Play Books and Amazon, and I go by I guess you could call it a pen name, which apparently is fine for a lot of authors use that to protect their identity, basically. I go by the pen name Rachel Ali, and Ali is spelled A-L-I, and it's technically my real name. It's just Ali is basically a cut-off version of my middle name, which is Alison. So, yeah. And my first name is spelled with E-L, not A-E-L. And yeah, it's sold on Google Play Books, even though it hasn't been bought by anybody yet, as of yet. And that's a fairly new platform that I'm on. And I sell most of the books on Amazon as well. I've got an author page on there that you can follow, even though apparently it doesn't always work correctly for people when they have a author page. I don't always get emails or anything like that. So, and the second book is interesting because it's got the first story in there that's basically the first book I published last year, but it's a bit more tidied up, I guess you could say. It's edited and had grammatical errors corrected and stuff like that. And it's got 2 other stories in the new book. So it's got 3 stories in one, and they're all very different. You know, very, very different. And my goal, I guess, either this year or next year, whenever I feel ready, I'll try and write a full book that's got a lot of pages. I'll try my very, very best. It's going to be pretty tricky, to say the least. I'll say that much. But I enjoy writing, I really, really do. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I do get writer's block pretty badly, but I always manage to break through it eventually. Because apparently if you think about it too much, then it's a lot harder to do. But then if you're not thinking about it very much, then it's a little bit easier. Because then you're not like driving yourself crazy thinking, oh god, what am I going to write next, what am I going to write next? Because I don't know how proper authors do it, you know, like write pages that are like 350 books that are 350 pages long. It's insane. So yeah, as I said, a lot has changed in my life. Especially with Pedro disappearing out of nowhere. It's just very, very sad. And I will miss him every day. I really, really will. I think the worst day was I think it was the day after he went missing, because we were so used to hearing him making cute little coo noises and everything that, you know, he did. And it was just so quiet in this place that I live in. It was just the weirdest thing. But yeah, at least the babies are here, and we have no idea what we're going to call them yet. We don't know if they're boys or girls. I think the smaller one, the one that was born, because they were born literally 2 days apart, The first one was born on the 7th of this month. Obviously the second one was born on the 8th of this month. So yeah, they're very, very cute. And they're getting used to me and my partner stroking them, but we only do it when their mother is out, because I think the mother would probably freak out a little bit. Even though she's going to have to get used to us being affectionate with them in a physical way anyway, because of, you know, I want them to be a little bit tame at least, you know, have some sort of interaction with them would be nice. And they've got rings on their legs now, little coloured ones. I think one of them's got a black one. I think their mother's just flown in. Yep, her name is Whitey, for pretty obvious reasons, because she is pure white. You can hear them squeaking away. Honestly, they're so cute. It's just crazy. I love them so much. And I'll make damn sure they'll be protected as much as possible. Which is hard considering the area I live in, because there's tons of cats around here. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. And yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.